YouTube, Matt here, Hollywood's Garage. Today we're working on the old Ventura. If you watch my previous videos on this car, I felt I had a stutter. Just on like slight acceleration, nothing full throttle, just like quarter throttle, cruising around throttle per se. So I'm gonna change the plugs. The plugs I have in there now are the NGK V-Power TR55s. I did gap them, but they're okay for boost. What I've been told, they're okay for what I'm running for PSI on the wastegate, the 7 pounds, which I'm going to be jumping that up anyway at the end of this video, hopefully. Anywho, so I went with the tried and true NGK BR7EF. These are the best plug for LS, for boost, everyone talks about. So they already come pre-gapped to 22 thou, which is perfect for boost, 22 to 24, 25. So checked them all already. They're boosted, they're good. Found a website in Canada called the Plug Hub, I think it was called. They were the cheapest plugs I could find. They're hard to find in my city for whatever reason. People don't just stock them like they do other places. So ordered them online, got them a week later. I was in a huge rush, obviously. And at the same time, we're gonna redo this fuel line with the blue line on it. I bought some more Dash 8, more Evil Energy, and we're gonna redo it so it's not touching or close to the exhaust there. We'll try to get it up and over or maybe under. So in the meantime, we're gonna start with the driver's side plugs because they're the easiest. Let's start easy, right? I mean, why would you want to start hard and get easier? That doesn't make sense. So here, obviously, pretty straightforward. Unplug it. So what I found though when I did these, when I took them out to gap them, sometimes it was easier to come from underneath the car to get to them. But we'll try. I have a little bit of a trick I can use for that you can use at home. See if it works for you. And to get these in and out, I can get a spark plug on them. There wasn't an issue before, so or not a spark plug, a socket. Sorry. So let's unclip all our wires since it's an LS. So we don't have to number them because let's make this easy here, right? LS. So we'll unclip them all and we'll just start ripping them out and putting new ones in, and we'll read them as we go. So here's a tool I made, just a piece of hose, 3/8 I think it is. Whatever length bolt you got, slide it on the socket and boom, you got yourself a little flexi unit. I was able to break it loose and just spin it off. So here's the plug here on the front cylinder. Can't remember if that's one, I think on a GM. But that's the timing strap right there. It's pretty low. You can see it, just tip my finger. You almost want it further halfway up, but we'll see what if we can adjust timing, if it's up or down to bring that further up. I can't remember. I'll have to look into it. But other than that, the plug reads good. No oil sit or nothing like that. This will have idle time on it. Like this wasn't just a full pull, shut it off, and idle in or coast into the shop. So it's not a true accurate reading of wide open throttle, but the strap kind of helps there with the timing. But yeah, so put the new one on, just do the same thing. Slide it on. If you can, use your fingers first, like if you need to. Put it in and then put this on. You just don't want to bend the electrode. The strap right here, you don't want to bend the strap when you jamming this around in there. You don't really have much feel with the hose on it, but yeah, get yourself a length of hose, cut whatever length you think you're going to use. You can always shorten it, so makes it a little easier. Tight spots like this. So there, driver's side done. That's all we got to do on this side. Passenger side, we got to remove the downpipe, the wastegate, exhaust. Got to cut that about an inch shorter, and then we got to do the fuel line as well because we're going to redo that. But so let's look at the plugs on this side. This is from front to back. So it's the rear cylinder. It kind of looks lean, doesn't it? I don't see a timing strap mark on it. That one has one though. I don't know if this is really focusing well for you guys or not, but so maybe that rear one wasn't firing. That one's got a higher timing mark up at the top there, and that one's low. Definitely not consistent, but that rear one, it's burning, but it's burning lean to what I can see. It's a lot of white on it, but we'll have to keep an eye on it. It could be that coil pack, or maybe the wire wasn't on properly all the way. Whatever. Okay, well let's start with taking the downpipe off. And the reason for this and the pipe for the wastegate is just more room. You can see it's pretty tight. And as it is, I got to shorten that wastegate downpipe about an inch. It's lower than my, it's lower than everything else, and it just speed bump, right? I hit one speed bump a little too spicy, and it came down and just ticked it. So we don't want that to be coming up and break and put leverage on this and breaking all the wells and stuff. Then obviously that fuel line we got to redo, like I said. But let me get this out of the way. Let me get that downpipe off, and I'll bring you guys back. I even got safety squints this time, real ones. Let's knock an inch off this sucker with the old Death Wheel 5000 with no guard. Is it a perfect cut? No. Does it work for the people that we hang with? Passenger side spark plugs, all done. A lot of room when you get rid of the downpipe. And here's how they read. Obviously front to back, but not much for timing marks on them, but a little bit. No hard strap lines anyway, like the previous ones, but they're all burning fuel. Don't look like they're rich. Don't look like they're rich or they're too lean. So we'll rock with it anyway. I do have my AFRs like 14.5 and just, you know, little bit of throttle cruising around speeds. I have it obviously at 11.5 at wide open throttle. So, because boost life. Let's do this fuel line now. So it goes from that blue there up, and it ties into the back of that fuel rail right there. We'll undo that, but we'll do that one in a second. The first one we'll do is underneath here at the filter. If you can find it here, right there. That way we can undo it and drain into a bucket, and we're not gonna get fuel everywhere. But first we'll undo any zip ties and stuff like that, just so it's, you know, you gotta rip her out type thing. Hopefully it doesn't siphon from the tank and it just drains whatever's in the line and in the fuel rail up top. Fingers crossed. Right. Yeah, just a line from the fuel rail, which was expected. Got her out. So, got the new fittings. I could reuse the old ones, but why? Let's just use these new ones. So we'll put the one fitting on first. Probably end up doing, can I see? Probably do the straight one first from the filter side. Then we'll feed it down to the car, we'll tighten it up, and then we'll mark the other side, we'll cut it, and then we'll put the other side on. Then we know we're not cutting too short or too long. This stuff's, you know, fun to do, as you guys are, I'm sure, aware of doing AN lines, but I can give you a little brief, if I haven't already in the previous video, on how to do these. So you're gonna undo your fitting, slide this end over the hoops without jamming your fingers with whatever wire mesh wasn't cut nicely. You're gonna undo the tape here, which was on there to cut it so it doesn't unfray. So electrical tape works too. This came like this, so they did this at their little factory per se. Don't forget your, I guess it's called a ferrule or an olive. But you just push that on. What works really well too is just pushing it against like something flat, like a table edge. You want to have it flush with the fitting. We are good there. Just don't forget to put this piece on. She gets a little dicey. You can spit on this and throw some oil on it. I'll hook to it just to help slide it in. Push it all the way on. See, we're all the way on. Huck Tui worked. There's proper oils for it, and proper wrenches and proper clamps, but we're gonna do it this way. Try not to mar up the aluminum too much, so just if you can, throw a rag in it or some wood or something, or if you have the nice blocks, whatever works best for you, and then just spin her on. Doesn't have to be super crazy tight, just aluminum, guys. So, she tight. And that's how you do a fitting. You can see there's a bit of a gap here. I could tighten it some more. And I may, a couple more turns, but you don't want to go super tight where you start taking the threads out and stuff. That's not the point. Got it fed down the location I want it to be. Don't do that. What I was thinking is we can go up and over. Don't kink your fuel line like I did. You could probably push that out with some pliers, but circle it back, make it a circle again. I think I'm going to come up that way. Hopefully I didn't mess that up. Got some pliers here. You know, that's the problem with the cheaper hose, is it does kink easier. But there, back to normal. Like that. So we can mark it by electrical tape. Just do a couple loops just so that way it, when you go to cut it with a cutoff wheel or the special tool, it doesn't let the stuff unfray. Just a couple wraps, too much and the fitting won't slide over. So there we go. Now I'll undo it, cut it off with a grinder stick, blow it out, and we'll put the fitting on. Got the line all buttoned up, tightened up, zip tied. So I guess what we can do now is let's just do a test for pressure, right? We'll turn the key on, cycle the key a few times, get some pressure, and we'll look for some leaks at the fittings. Do it one more time. I wonder if that was the regulator making that noise. Let's see. That's dry. Double check. I always like to triple double. Oh. No, there's some gas there, guys. But that could have been when I took that fitting off. I'll wipe it down and double check it. And that one's dry. Okay, let's go dry that upper fitting. And we'll see if it comes back or not. Went to start it. Push button start wouldn't work. The old solder stick. Well, let me get the heat gun out and put another one on. Well, went in for some lunch, got changed, got washed up, but before we take the car out, we have to do something very important. Very, it's gonna add like 30 horsepower. Bam! We got to rebrand it. So it says Hollywood's Garage. It's got the record logo and then the YouTube play button. It's the same stickers I have on the side of my Super Duty. So now it'll match, it'll look good. This is what I have on there now. I mean, that did good too. It was easy to read. It did the job. But we're gonna peel these off, we're gonna clean the window, and we're gonna stick the new ones on. And there we go. The only thing I'm not a huge fan of is I put the sticker of the name with the shape of the window. So it's a little on a decline, but I don't know, it's not horrible, I guess. The color is, let me get my phone here. The color is Vivid Wrap, actually. Matte Metallic Daytona Yellow. So it's the matte, not the shiny. I like that just because the shiny will, over time, the sun will fade it because of the brightness of it. But yeah, there we go. Passenger side done, I'll go do the driver. Got this one all done. Went a little more of an angle so it'll be a little more level, but looking really good. Stoked about that. There, car's all branded. We had to gain at least, what, 5 pounds of boost? Minimum. Especially with the Hollywood's Garage. So yeah, I got a whole vibe going. As you can see, it's like the hybrid, lighter, brighter yellow. Yes, it's also good to see. It's easy to see. Just to be a little different, right? I mean, that's what it's all about. Everyone has projects, everyone has their thing, and they're all different in their own way. So I like to keep mine kind of consistent, same kind of color scheme here or there. So that's where we're at. Well, next we'll be taking it for a ride. So I did some reading up on the spark plug stuff. So remember I was explaining how the strap there, you can see it there. I don't know if it's focusing or not. You want the burn mark to be as low as possible. As low as possible on that strap without going down into the spark plug. So that one's pretty high, as you can see. It's above the 90. But look at this one. Just a couple mils above it. I don't know if it's focusing or not, but... So that one's healthy. But then none of them are all consistent. This car did run with the spark plug, exhaust manifold leak for a while. One of my videos have shown that, but like that one has too much timing. It looks like it's too far down. So here, if you look, the driver's side bank looks like that's where the leak was. You can really see it there. So these you can't really trust too much, because if you had an air leak, that can mess up the AFR. It's all the shared, only have one AFR for both banks, but if you're off the passenger side, it's a little more accurate. This one, it's hard to tell. It's definitely not down into the base. It's right at the bottom, it looks like, if anything. This one is about a couple millimeters up there, maybe 3 or 4. That one's all the way up to the top. And that one looks to be, again, about 2-3 millimeters in the bottom, just like the far cylinder. So we'll leave our timing where it's at for now. Like I said, I am on the safe side. I can go up 2 degrees, if not 3, 4, and be still safe for 93. But we'll keep it where it's at. I'd rather have this engine last than try to get an extra 40, 50 horse out of it. I mean, yeah, that's a lot, right? But we gotta get some more testers on it. We got to get it to the point where it's not stuttering on that kind of partial throttle, like just cruising. So if we get that under control, we can start bumping up the timing a degree or 2 and add some more boost. I took the car out off camera. I still have a stutter, still have a misfire. It's almost sporadic in a way. So I tried tuning. I tried taking my tuning down on my spark on just like your below boost levels, and I'm still getting it. Of course, when I'm in boost or anything above quarter throttle, you don't notice the miss, right? So what I have set up here is I took the plugs that were in it. I still have my NGKs in it, so I unplugged them all and put my old plugs back in, which are TR55s, which actually are still okay for low boost, but we're gonna see what our spark looks like. I have all 4 kind of sitting up. Smartest thing to do would be to unplug my ejectors. Let's see if I can find the main. Here we go. On this side, we'll unplug the injector on this side. There we go. So now we're not going to get any fuel or nothing. It'll just be a 4-banger, but let's see how our spark's looking. That one's not sparking. That one is. That one's sparking. And that one's really sparking. So it's our front one. So I'm actually gonna put it near some metal and try it again. Maybe because it wasn't grounded on anything. I don't know. I don't like how that one's. Let's try that. And I don't like this one bouncing off the coil. Get to stay running on 4-banger here. Come on, you were doing it before. Now I'm getting slower. Got this side all wrapped up. One wire is a little melted at the end when I had the header gasket leak, but the plug-in's way up here, so I don't think that'll be an issue. I unplugged the injectors on this side. Everything's back together on this side, so let's see what the other side looks like. idea why this thing is running like crap. Why hasn't this in it at all? Sorry. While working on it, my jacket came in. So to race at a track, NHRA rules, anytime a vehicle has anything that's not factory, that's either boost or NOS, I think that's it. You have to have a fireproof jacket or a race jacket. It's because, you know, you don't have to be a certified person to install any of this stuff. So it's just making sure that if there is a fire that you're somewhat protected. At the end of the day, they're only asking for a jacket. Is it gonna help? Probably not. It was $100 and some, but it is what it is. We got one now anyway. I'm just gonna try it on and see if it fits. Here it is. Your boy got an extra large because just the way I was born. My issue is actually length and 6'1" and also long arms, so it's we're not really wide. So a lot of times extra large is meant for a chubby dude. But yeah, it's long. I probably could have went to a large, to be honest. But let's just see here how it zips up. Nice part is I have some room, but you also need length for when you're on a steering wheel, right? It's probably why I make the arms a little longer compared to like a normal sweater. But yeah, I'll rock it. It's nice to have a little, so you can reach for stuff. So, right on. Back to it. So after looking at the plugs that were in there when I first turboed it, you know, the back left one, I guess driver's side, looks the leanest. So my next assumption is going to be not enough fuel maybe. So maybe what happened is, so the back, let's back up. I had these plugs in the car last year before I turboed it. There was no miss. It was perfect. I actually ended up, I had issues before and I ended up buying 2 brand new Pontiac fuel injectors for the 55 pounders right here. Here's my used one. Here's the new one. The new ones have different AMS codes, I guess. I don't know. Anyway, I ordered the right ones, but I ended up swapping one of them out thinking I had an issue with it. And I can't remember why or what the issue was. I can't remember. Regardless, anyway. So the car ran fine with these plugs prior. No issues. I had no stumble, nothing. Ever since I guess, added, well, no, because I had the fuel system after last year too. So what my thought was I somehow got material or something from when I put lines on and plugged up an injector. That was my first theory here where I was getting at, but never mind. I did that 2 winters ago. So last year I would have this whole fuel system set up already. Nothing was changed. The only thing I've changed is that fuel line that you guys saw me do, just for ease of, sorry, keep it away from that exhaust. So that's not the issue. So I don't know, but that back plug does look relatively lean compared to the rest. They say it usually does anyway, the back two, because they're the furthest away, but my setup's a little different, right? Like my feeds from the back of the passenger side comes through, loops under, and then which is a -6 line. I should probably change that to a -8 because the rest of it is, and then it goes out, and then from that back rail to the regulator. But this is all the same pressure because it's all after or before the regulator. So that back one might get the least amount if this fuel system can't keep up. It should be fine though, right? This car, this kit is rated for 750 horsepower, NA. Obviously I'm running probably 600 on 7 pounds of boost, so we should be fine there. The -6 line is probably going to be the issue, or even the rails being too small, but like I said, I'm -8 up to it. But back to the plugs. So the rest all have pretty good soot around them. You know, let me get to the back, and that one looks the driest. See the back. See, that one has all the way around the ring, black on the top there, black, black, and black. So this is my best guess. That looks fairly lean. I'm going to change out that injector with the old one, because that's the one that came with the kit that'll match the rest, because I only changed one. And I'm pretty sure it was that rear one that I'm changing out. Let's change it out. Let's see what happens. Let's get fuel everywhere, because that's what's going to happen. And the nice part is about using the older one is the O-ring's already seated. The new O-ring, they're fun to put in, but this one's already good. But We'll see if it actually if it seals up. If it doesn't, we'll have to put the new one on, or put the O-ring off the new one and put it on. Anyway, let me get this kind of taken apart. There's two kind of 90s that hold this rail down. I'll loosen the front one, take off the back one because we have to pry the back up to take it from the rail. We'll unplug it, of course. It's super simple, but let's get to it. I'll just take them all the way out. So here's the new one I had put in. I just pulled out. You can see the O-ring not even squished. That's how I know it's the new one, where the old one is squished. Doesn't even look like an O-ring, but we'll throw this one back in and we'll see. Maybe the new one just didn't, I don't know. My theory is I'm kind of running out of ideas here, so I'll put the old one back in. Oh, yep, should have went by hand. Well, it's still down there. Now let's see if that back one's gonna leak or not. Nothing so far. Cycle the key. There's 3 cycles. See anything leaking. We'll do one more key cycle. There, I think we're okay. Now we'll start it up and we'll see if it leaks. So I do have new plug wires coming too. I don't think that's the issue, but those are nice MSD ones. I do have some cheaper ones from Amazon coming. They're like 60 bucks. They're coming tomorrow. We'll switch those out too. And then we'll see if that mist goes away. I have my tune, like I said, my tune, my driving around tune, which is like not in the boost, just cruising around at 40 to 60 K or on the map, which I think it's KPA. I don't know. It's not KPA. It's whatever the map is. 40 to 60 cruising. I have my timing at like, I think it's like 24. And I think 6 liters like 20 to 25 that are like factory. So, and this is hopped up with a cam, a little higher compression and stuff. So it should handle that, especially with 93 octane. So we'll see if this fixes it. I mean, I can try tuning it down to like 22 on cruising around timing. Maybe that'll fix it, but and it's hard to tell if there's a miss at idle. I don't hear one, but because the exhaust is so loud. But definitely when I'm driving, there's a bit of a pop, and it's like, it's almost like it's not like pop, 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 pop. It's like a pop, 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 which is like detonation in my mind. But I don't know. Maybe I'll bring the tune down again, another couple degrees, like I said. Wait for those wires, change those out, and we'll see if that works. We back. We got updates. Ended up getting new wires. So I'm having obviously a spark issue. I know I am. It's almost like it's getting worse. We've changed plugs. Obviously in this video we showed that. The plugs that came out all read pretty well. They're all firing. It's just we have a weird misfire or like a weak spark. So next thing is we're gonna change wires. I ended up getting the tried and true Amazon specials of the, what brand are these? The JDM Speeds. You know, they sell as being like this big old cable, like it's like double the thickness of MSDs. The MSDs I have on there are like, you know, skinnier, but here's a little tip for you guys to show you the resistance of your wires. Obviously, the lower the number on resistance on ohms, the better the spark can travel. There's some math in there. I don't know it. You're gonna have to Google it, but for every foot, you want so much resistance. But I'll show you here, the MSD I pulled off of the first cylinder here. I think it's 1 on a Chev. I don't know. I've been working on my diesel so much that I forget. So I'll show you this one, then I'll show you one from the box of the JDM Speed and the difference. Put it to the horseshoe, okay? I don't know if you can still see that. No, maybe not. So you're gonna grab, you're gonna grab your wires. One goes on one side of the wire, just in the metal, and then put the other one on the other side. So I don't know if you can see that, but it says 42.6, 42.7 is the resistance. Okay, now let's grab a JDM Speed one. You know, like I said, they're visually thicker. So you're like, oh, good, you know, they're better. They're a little shorter, which is nice too, actually, for what I need. Anywho's, let's do the same thing in the metal. To the metal, and these are 250. So you can see the difference in just resistance. These are not as good as the MSDs. Are they a quarter of the price? Yes. Will it work on an LS? And the reason why yes on an LS or anything that's got a coil, I guess a separate coil that's got a short wire or like a direct plug into the boot, is it's only a short chunk of wire, right? Now, if that was as long as like the old small block Chevys were with the distributor on top and you had wires going off each one, you know, from the back of the engine or the Ford, rather than the front or Dodge, you know, the furthest wire is now 3 feet long. So that would be triple that number in theory. Could even be more. Factory is like between 300 and 600 is what I've been told. So, you know, are we better than factory? Yeah, but not by much. Are we cheaper? Sure. Are they red and look sporty? Sure. They were just cheap. They came the next day. So I'm going to swap them out, go 1 for 1. I think I might even change. Well, you know what? Let's do the spark plug wires first. Then we'll fire it up. We'll see if we have a misspark. And if we have any other spark issues, we'll change, I don't know, these coils on this side. I did change the other side from another set of coils I had with the same plug-in type. Like they were the same, like, I guess, square coils, but they had a different plug-in type. So now we're matching. These were off the same junkyard truck, you know, a couple years ago. But I still have another set of 4 that I can change out. My spark wasn't the strongest on this one from what I remember right when I did the video. I should go back in the video and look. So if anything, I'll probably change this one. But if I remember right, when I had this one sitting up here and turning it over, that spark was jumping to the back of the boot, back on the gray part. So maybe it's leaking out the back. I don't know. But now that it's cold, I can change them and not worry about burning myself. And coils are easy to do after the fact, right? So let me swap these out 1 for 1. We'll, after the fact, I'll run my resistance to each one, and I will let you know if they're all the same or which one's way out to lunch. So I ohmed out all the new ones. They're all within 5 or 10, whatever that number is. Let's just say resistance of 150-ish. So the MSDs, of course, like I said, they were all lower, right? Because they were better wire, better conductor. But I found the one that was the issue. It was actually one that had a burnt boot on it from when number 4 and 6 blew out on the original header gasket. So I'll go ahead and I'll show you here what I was reading. Can you guys see the gauge there? Oh yeah, there you go. So here, this is the burnt boot. I'm like, yeah, it's just a burnt boot, no big deal, right? Well, when you look inside, it's pretty rough shape, but I'll put it in. Let's do the resistance here. Look at that, 2. We're getting 2. And if I move it around, it changes. So it's definitely got an issue in it. See, now it's high. And now it's low. So inconsistent. So I'll grab another one from cylinder 2. And there's 2, 45, right? That's how we were getting before. So there we go. That's how we diagnose wires. So if I really want, I can just change the one. I changed them all, so it's pretty consistent for all of them. They're not the best fitting on the actual spark plug itself, but the wire fits a lot better. It's a shorter length. The angle of the boot and the bottom is good. The only issue I know I'm gonna have in the future is a lot of them are just touching the bolts, or yeah, the bolts. So, you know, they're gonna get hot too, obviously, right? So they need to be another 1/4 inch longer on the main boots and we'd be fine, but we'll keep an eye on it. I mean, they look cooler because they're thicker and they're bright red, so that's at least 10 horsepower, right? I don't have to worry about zip ties anymore holding them back. It's a cleaner look, even though obviously it's not the cleanest, you know, turbo engine bay. I mean, look at that dirt on the coil pack stuff still, but from the old junkyard. But they fit better. I try to space them so they're not touching bolts, but you know, kind of hard when they're right in the middle. But we'll keep an eye on it. Should be fine. I did go ahead and put my timing back to where it was because I kept thinking that it was a timing issue pre-detonating, but obviously that wire's a smoking gun. But only way to tell is take it for a rip. So temperatures here in Alberta lately have been like not hot for a lot of you guys that live in, you know, the States, the southern side, but it's been like 30, 35, and that's hot up here. We're igloo dwellers. I mean, my perfect temperature is like a -10 Celsius to like a +20 tops. If I'm at a beach, 25. Anything above that, I'm hating life. I want to be in the shade. I just don't like the heat. I don't like it. So I'm gonna wait till tonight, cools off around 8 or 9 p.m., you know, 4 degrees. It'll be like 28 instead of 34 or something. We'll take the car out then. We'll see how much more difference it is with the better tune that I have too. I haven't really ripped with this tune that I did before. That's when I kept noticing the miss. And with the miss, with a turbo, you don't want to mess around with spark too much. It's one of those things. You don't want to melt the piston or you know, any other cases per se. I am only running 102 sensors, so both cylinders are both banks are run by 1. So another way you can tell that you have a misfire is your O2, which is I guess your wideband, right? It'll show lean and not rich. The reason why it shows lean is because it's got unburnt air from that cylinder misfire, right? So just keep that in mind. If you're getting a weird kind of erratic in your car or your truck is hunting, like the idle, the AFR is hunting, especially at idle. Cruising, it'll be fine because your other cylinders make up for it. And maybe the vibration of it cruising, the spark gets, you know, carried better in the wire. I notice it mostly in idle and like that cruising around low RPM. So this should be huge. If I remember right, I had no spark issue to begin with until that gasket blew out, so that makes sense. It doesn't really make sense in my head why a little bit of a melted boot did that, but maybe the melt got so thin there. Get some better light. Maybe the melted part got thin where it was pushing through it, the spark. I don't know, because it ends about here, the metal. So I don't know. It is a weird one. Either way, there's some diagnoses for you guys there. I'm not much of a big diagnose guy. I'm more of just like, oh, this has to be it. Let's change the part. It usually works out. Usually, yes and no. It's for Parts Canada, right? But that worked out for me. I did a bit of research. So, you know, I learned something new. Hopefully you guys learned something new on that too. But let's go for a cruise later tonight, and we'll that'll be the test of it. What time is it now? 8:30. It's cooled off to a nice 28 degrees Celsius from a 34 today, so it's bearable. It's humid out here though. She's thick. She hot though. But we're gonna go out, go for a little cruise. Let's see if we got that miss figured out, and have a little bit of fun, I guess. We got to get some gas first here too. So on the way to the gas station. Well, let's do a cold start. $1.76 a liter for 93, and that's with my 5 cents off.
Definitely wasn't firing, so it did help it. Maybe I don't have a wire on all the way. Like I said, they're almost a little too short, the boot to go onto the plug. Well, made her back. She's definitely getting hot now with that tuning. I'm at like 230 now is the highest I got, and I've never been higher than like 215, 220 in this car. So I'm gonna bump the timing back about 5 degrees, that 40 to 60 on the map there. Just cruising speed, right? Doesn't need to be high. I don't know what, I guess better mileage, but we don't care. It's miles per miles, right? So, but I did notice something with my spark plug wires. You look at this side and see how they're all pretty much in line with, I guess, the bolts of the manifold. Well, I found one that's sticking out pretty far. That would be number 3. Looks like it's about a 1/4 inch right there. That one, it's about a 1/4 inch out, but she's way too hot right now. So I'm gonna push that back on when it cools off. I mean, that's probably where my stutter is. Other than that, like, ran good. I did a couple good pulls there, as you guys saw. As she goes, like, I have the timing dialed in under boost though. Not one knock. My knock counter never went off, so that's it. We'll push that one wire back on. We'll take tuning back about 4 or 5 degrees on just the cruising area there, and then that's it, guys. I think we got the car dialed, ready for you know, rip some streets up, scare some babies, race some you know, new Camaros and stuff. Had a BRZ follow me for a little bit there, but didn't want to get on it a little too much. He, I mean, I was hitting 230, so I wanted to get home. Get the hood up, let it cool off, do its thing. So anyway, guys, well, hopefully you learned something on this video. I mean, I certainly did. I found out about the wire thing. Like I said, had a little melt to it, but I didn't think it'd be that bad, right? But obviously it was. But the cheapies, but that's the way she goes. Okay, guys, well, thanks for watching. Subscribe, like, comment. If you have any questions, concerns, let me know. Next, probably some truck content. Catch you in the next one.